Okay, been having loads of fun with the X520, and now I'm thinking it's time to move up to sort of a proper FPV flight with it as well. I've actually even managed to do 3D flights with it as well, and I'll put a link in the description to the full review that I did on it as it comes stock, and I'm going to do some mods to it. Now, I haven't had a word with anyone else. I haven't really troved around the web or anything. I'm just going to do what I normally do, which is sort of stick bits on and see how I get on, and I'm hopefully going to run you all through it as well. First thing I've noticed, when you take the battery bay out, there's two antennas run down through here. Hopefully the camera will get that, which is for the Wi-Fi. Now they run down either side of the battery, which sort of fits in there quite tight, so I'm not sure whether that's going to add the interference or not. So what I might do first of all is actually pop the camera out, pop these antennas out, and then see whether or not we can make a reasonable FPV out of it. If not, I'm going to move on to a little complete little system in there, and I'll wire it in, have a play around, see whether we can find some feed for that, and then I'll probably use the little Firefly from Hawkeye, the micro cam, to do some 1080 footage as well. So those two actually together, I did give them a quick weigh up, only weigh 21 grams, so if I start ripping this stuff out, I'll probably be able to save that weight anyway. So I've already had a play around to get this thing out, and basically all I used was a craft knife, a stand-in, anything really, to get in and just break the seal of how they've glued it in. Then I used a pair of pliers to get in there and just literally sort of wrench it out. And it came out quite easy actually, and then we're into the area there. Now we can start actually moving around with it and perhaps putting it in here, or perhaps popping it out through the top of the canopy. It's got, the housing is quite large, so we can undo the screws on there, and I'll pop that all apart in a minute. The next thing I did was just run a Stanley knife, a little craft knife or scalpel all the way around the canopy, and that sort of released that and let me in. I haven't actually got fully in yet. I thought I'd try and do that on camera. I wasn't too sure how I'd get on with getting this thing apart actually, so having never really done one before, I thought I'd just give it a go halfway and then start recording if I thought I was actually going to get anywhere with it. It's quite nicely fitted in there, and like I say, look, there's two antennas there, so this should actually be quite a reasonable FPV setup. I'm actually going to run those. I think this is what my idea was, just to run them down here, and I might actually just put the camera up through and perhaps mount it on the top here and just give it a quick go like that. The nice thing about the FPV system, if it does work, I mean it is a Wi-Fi one, not a 5.8, is we've actually got recording on board as well, so I'm going to have a quick play around with that. I'll be back in 2 minutes. This is all going way too easy. Literally just undo the two screws that were holding that in there, and obviously it was fed through underneath like that. Undo those two screws and it just pops off. This whole lot comes off, so that's a load of weight saved straight away. And then this, I'll probably mount it into the canopy itself, because I don't think I've got quite enough cable there to actually get it fully out the front there, and I think if I mount it half reasonably into there, that would be a better idea. This is all going way too smoothly. This is just held in with a blob of glue just on this bit, and I just sort of pushed it out the way, actually with a bit of the screwdriver, just so I didn't damage anything on the antenna itself. Just push that out the way, and then there's two blobs of hot glue that actually hold this in position, and because you've got this bit out, it just slides through the hot glue, which is really good. That worked on both of them. Instead of running them down here, I think I'm probably just going to pop them down so they just sort of hang down a wee bit sort of there. That would be my idea. And then getting this out was a doddle as well. Like I say, it's going way too smooth. Just push this bit out here, that releases the ribbon, so this little bit here, you just put these two dart bits out, that releases the ribbon, and then you can just feed it back through. That's obviously how they assembled it, and then I'm ready to go. It doesn't quite reach up to where I'd like it to just sort of sit there, so what I'm going to have to do is just take a little bit of the fuselage out, so the cockpit area out just there, just to make it fit. I'm just going to have it sitting up about here, I think. And again, this is another weird look, this sort of fits perfectly into there, so a little blob of hot glue to hold it in place I think could work quite well. Now I know at the end of the day it's only going to be a Wi-Fi system, and I will actually just do a quick test with it, and then I'll be on to fitting the 5.8, I hope. And another issue I had with it was I think the angle of view is way too narrow for FPV anyway. I like a wider angle. I think this is going to be way too tight, but I'm going to give it a little go, see how we get on. I just hope I don't trash the plane in the process. Like I say, getting really nervous about how easy this has gone. All I've done is cut a small little hole in the cockpit. I didn't actually need to cut it that big because I can take the ribbon out and just feed it through, but anyway, I've wound up with that one, which will be great for the FPV camera. That will probably actually go in there, or I'll be fitting this one in here afterwards anyway. So I'm just going to hold it on with an elastic band. I can't see any sense in hot gluing it. I'm an elastic band guy, if you notice around the channel. If I can do it with elastic band, I will. I just find it a lot easier, and then I'm not committing myself to anything. If this was going to be my little pride and joy, I'd probably make it look a lot slicker, but not the way I tend to do things. And then here I've just done fed the antennas through the elastic band, so they can't get anywhere near the props even when we're going forward. And I'm just going to see how we get on with it for a quick test flight. Okay, I'm just going to give it a quick test. It's spitting with rain, as you can see, all over the transmitter and everything, and the wind keeps gusting up and then just completely dropping. So ideal flight conditions. So let's just see how we get on with this. I'm going to record the screen as well, so you'll be able to see how much sort of drop out and everything we get. And I just want to give it a very quick go, because I honestly don't want to be flying out in this for very long. And having said that, the wind's sort of dropped now. Oh no, it's not. Oh, she flies okay. Hey, we're doing all right actually. Yeah, I can see a little bit of dropout happening. Oh, we got spots of rain on the lens, but we'll just be pleased with what we get, I think, today. Yeah, no, definitely dropping out. But it works, yeah, and it actually made it into, you know, something that is usable, sort of. You could line things up if you wanted to, but I don't think you're going to be flying competition FPV with it, certainly. But not bad. I'm not going to risk it with the goggles, to be fair. Yeah, no, it's much better than it was. I don't know why on earth they didn't put the camera where I've stuck it. I mean, it would be so easy for them to do as a manufacturer and save all that plastic work as well. You could have made it look pretty good. Okay, so it definitely works. I don't know why they didn't put the camera up there in the first place, but I suppose it gave me an excuse to make another video and get out for another flight with this thing, which was really good fun. The wind was really quite gusty and it held really well, so I was quite pleased with that. As an FPV system, I wouldn't say it was usable at all. It was breaking up and locking up when it was only probably 50, 70 meters away from me, something like that. We were getting little bits of drop out and everything, and it completely seized up in a couple of places. It does come back on, but honestly, you couldn't fly like that with an FPV system. Obviously, if you wanted this smart, you would just hot glue these down here. Little blob there would probably be good, or do it whatever way you like, or a little bit of hot glue either side there. I've just literally just taken the elastic band off, so it's just held on with a little bit of friction at the moment. My next thing will be to take this all back off again, and then I'm probably going to take this out, I'll pop the camera back out again, take all this unit out, and then I'll probably nick the power off here and then use it on my 5.8 gig one, and then I'll probably mount this camera somewhere as well so that I can get some half decent footage and also have a proper FPV system. So that'll be on my next video. Hope it's helped some of you. If you bought it and you want to know how to mod it up, it just seems a really simple way of doing it, and you can get a much better performance out of it, I hope. So hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.